I celebrated my 30th birthday in my father's house. On that day, my father gave me money to cut my hair, and in the evening, I ate dinner from my mother's pot. Guys, in this video, I'll be telling you guys 3 mistakes I made in my 20s that landed me in my father's house at the age of 30. You know, we live in a world where everything is kind of programmed and you are expected to achieve certain things at certain age. Like by the age of 10 or 11, you should be done with primary school. At the age of 19, you should be done with secondary school. At the age of 23, you should be done with university. By 25, you should get a job. And 29, 30 for guys, you should be married. And for ladies, by 28, 27, you should be married. Like that's the timeline most society expects. That is how you're supposed to live your life. Do you understand? But imagine a 30-year-old man living with his parents. The embarrassment, not only on my path, but on the path of my parents, because every parent expects their child to grow up at certain ages. My father got married at the age of 30, and at the age of 30, I'm still living with them. I don't have anything to my name. I'm living with my parents. I don't even know what to do. I'm probably jobless. I'm not having a job. The embarrassment. And looking back, I made some mistakes that if I had done things differently, I'm not sure I would have been in my parents' house at the age of 30. So if you are in your 20s and you clicked on this video, trust me, you are already way ahead of your peers. Because in my 20s, I never watched such videos. I was not curious enough to just learn from other people's mistakes. So if you're watching this video and you're still in your 20s, bravo, you're doing something great. So I'm going to tell you guys 3 mistakes I made in my 20s, and without wasting much time, let's dive into it immediately. Mistake number 1, not learning a valuable skill. Okay, so I studied law in the university, and when I graduated, I knew upon graduation, I'm going to probably work in the legal department of a company. It didn't happen. I applied to so many companies and none of them were taking me. And even when I saw job application, I studied law, I have a master's degree in business law. At no one point in time did I see a job application where they wanted somebody with a master's degree in business law. So I was really frustrated, and hadn't been I'd learned a skill, I would have made so much money, because I'm not making money from what I studied. I'm not a lawyer, clearly. I'm not working in a legal department of a company, clearly. So what is making me money today is a skill I learned later on in my life, in my late 20s, in my early 30s. That is when I learned that skill. Hadn't been I'd learned the skill earlier on, in my early 20s or mid 20s, I would have making money for myself. So if you're in your 20s, don't just rely on what you studied in school. If you studied management, English language, banking and finance, all those things, they are good things to study. But trust me, in today's day and age, in Cameroon, we call it handwork. It's very important. Learn a skill. No, whatever skill you want to learn, just go ahead and learn it. It could be video editing, photography, baking, catering, how to cook, how to drive, something that you can do with your hands. Do you understand? Don't just say, oh, I have a master's degree in so and so, in business law, in this, in banking and finance, civil engineering, blah, blah, blah. All those is nice, right? But trust me, you can start making money immediately if you have a skill. Imagine you can bake, and every now and then there are birthdays every day, and you manage to land some few gigs. Do you imagine the amount of money you'll be making while applying with your civil engineering degree? So that is one mistake I really made, and I really regret, because when I started my personal development journey, I started it really late, because I was just winding time. I was just hoping that I'm still young, I'm going to find a job. And then years were just passing. I was not getting a job. So at one point I was like, you know what? I have to do better. I cannot just continue being like that. Nobody wants to recruit me. And even the times I started working, I work with a couple of companies, but I didn't get to those company with like my degree. I just got to the company because someone recommended me or something. Like I just found myself in those companies. It's not as if I went for interview and then they looked everything and applied me. No, it didn't happen like that. So I started learning new skill. I started learning as many skills as possible, but I started doing it late. It's never too late, but I'm just telling you, the aim of this video is just to encourage someone in your 20s, like, don't rely on your degrees. Learn handwork. Something that you can do with your hands, a skill, a valuable skill, and then monetize that skill so you can start making money before you eventually land yourself a 9-to-5 job. Or maybe you can eventually even, like when you learn a skill, you can even make it into a business and you never even see the need to like start looking for a 9-to-5 job. So if you're still in your 20s, please, I'm begging you in the name of God, learn a skill. Learn a skill. It is going to help you. Just look within yourself and like just look for the things you have interest in. Do you understand? And just learn it. It's going to help you. The second mistake I made in my 20s was not making good use of the internet. Yes. See, when I sit back and see how I make my money from the internet today, I'm like, why did I not do this thing like 10 years ago or 8 years ago? Why am I only doing it now? So it's a mistake I made and I regret a little bit. You know, in life, right, you cannot like everything happens for a reason. But honestly, I regret not making good use of the internet. If I tell you the things I was using internet to do, you will just come and slap me because it was ridiculous. I'll be using internet to just follow pop culture news, watching adult film, like just browsing aimlessly on the internet. And years are passing, you just like, oh, I'm catching cruise, I'm enjoying myself. Instead for me to learn from the internet, I was using it to just whine away time. So I didn't make good use of the internet. Hadn't been, I started this YouTube channel like when I was 25 or 24 or 28 even. Like, can you imagine where I'll be today? Hadn't been, I'd started learning, we are listening to audiobooks, like reading and learning all those things from the internet like I'm doing now. Had it been I started it like 5 or 10 years ago, my life would not be where it is today. So guys, if you are still in your 20s, you are in the internet age, make good use of it. The good thing is you can learn whatever you want to learn on the internet today. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to do it. Just what do you want to learn? Google it. What do you want to learn? Go on YouTube and search it. You want to learn how to cook, to bake, to sew, to design, to be a graphic designer, to take good pictures, to edit. Whatever you want to learn today, you can learn it on the internet without paying a dime to anybody. Do you understand? You see all those people that are organizing masters classes, baking master class, whatever, business master class, all those people, they read it from books and they learned it from the internet. So the internet is available to anyone. It's at your disposal. Make good use of it. That is one mistake I made in my 20s. I was not really making good use of the internet. I was just like Facebook. I spent half of my 20s aimlessly scrolling on Facebook. I will scroll for hours upon hours upon hours. When I'm tired, I go on YouTube, I watch music videos, I watch Nollywood films, and then from there, I go back to Instagram. Like I was just wasting away my data. At that time, I was not even working. Can you imagine somebody that is not even working, you don't even have money, and you're taking the small money that you have and be doing useless things on the internet? My brothers and sisters, if you are in your 20s, please make good use of the internet. A lot of us, we make that mistake. We do not. It's now that we are trying to catch up in our 30s. So if you're in your 20s, you can set up yourself so that by the time you're 30, you're in your 30s, you'll be way ahead of your mates, your peers. Do you understand? So that's one mistake I made in my 20s, not making good use of the internet. Mistake number 3, not having clear goals and ambitions. In my 20s, right, Like, and that is the trap a lot of people in their 20s always fall into. They feel like, oh, I'm still young. I still have a whole time ahead of me. Let me just enjoy a little bit. Let me just joker a little bit. Let me just flex a little bit. By the time I'm getting to 28, 29, then I'll adjust. Listen, before you know it, you'll be 35 years old. Do you understand? So this is the time. It's never too late for you to have clear goals, to have ambition. I was not ambition enough. When I was in my 20s, when somebody asked me like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, honestly, I could not answer that question. I would just think, in my head, I was like, I just need to get a job. Like, you know how society just programs you, like, when you leave school, the only thing you have to do is to get a job. So that was the only thing in my head, like, I have to get a job. I was applying from company to company to company to company and having rejections upon rejection upon rejection. The people that were calling me, the salary they were proposing was like, you know what, I'd rather stay in my father's house and be eating from my mother's pot. You understand? Because it's not worth it. Like, I mean, I cannot be working for transportation, like just to pay transportation. So at the end of the day, it made me, I did not really have clear goals, because if you are on your personal development journey, you know what you want to do with your life. It's going to help you. At the age of 20, in my 20s, I did not have any clear goals. But now, if you're watching this video, I want you to look deep within you. Like, just imagine yourself in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. Where do you want to see yourself? What do you want to be doing? Just visualize it. Like, just meditate and visualize it in your head. Like, okay, let's just say, for example, you're 25 now. At the age of 30, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing that will give you happiness? What is it? What is your purpose in life? Ask yourself these questions, and by the time you ask yourself these questions, it's going to send you on your personal development journey, on your leveling up journey, and you're going to start reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, like just having, like, purposely searching for knowledge. You search for information that will nourish your brain, nourish your spirit, your soul, and just makes you an awesome person. So that's one mistake I made in my 20s. I did not have clear goals and ambition because I felt like I was still young. I had a lot of time. By the time I'm 30, I'll figure out what I want to do in my life. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, if you are still in your 20s, it's okay. If you don't want to know what to do, if you don't know what to do with your life, you figure it out eventually. No, I don't entirely agree to that. If you're in your 20s and you just left school, please don't just say you have a lot of time in your hands. This is the right time. You're still active, you're vibrant, you still have a lot of support from people. If you pitch your ideas, people might be willing to support you. This is the time to make good use of it, because people know you're still fresh, and like the fact that you're thinking in that direction, people are willing to support you. By the time you clock 30, 35, nobody cares anymore. Everybody assume, oh, you're an adult, you figure out your life yourself. But if you're still in your 20s, you still have support from friends and family members and people that just wish you well. So if you're in your 20s, make sure you sit down, reflect, develop, like, visualize yourself, your goals and your ambitions. Know what you want to do in your life. Find your purpose, because only your purpose can bring you fulfillment in your later years. Do you understand? So those are the 3 biggest mistakes I made in my 20s. And trust me, those are not the only mistakes. Like, those are the biggest ones. But I made small mistakes here and there, like having this entitlement mentality. I felt like people owed me things, and I was just like, when my aunt does not give me money, I'll feel bad and I'll curse them and I'll feel like, oh. But those are just silly mistakes I made because it didn't get me anywhere. I sat and I was waiting for people that made promises to materialize, and nothing happened, and I was just sitting there and waiting. That is a mistake that you made. Instead of moving on with your life, and if the people meet you halfway, good. If they don't, still fine, you move on. But I just sat and I was like, okay, my aunt promised to buy me an iPhone. Therefore, I'm not going to hustle to buy a phone for myself. I'm just going to sit and wait until she buys me the phone. If she does not buy me the phone, that's a problem. If she buys me the phone, then good. That is the mistake I made. Another minor mistake I made in my 20s was allowing peer pressure get to me. See, when you are still in your 20s, right, that is the time in your life where you have the most friends. Because trust me, in the 30s, 40s, single, loneliness can kill you in those times, because everybody assumes, oh, you're not an adult, you can figure out your life. Life is happening for everybody. People are trying to build their families, pursue their purpose in life, their career. They don't have time to be doing friendship up and down. So in your 20s is a time where people usually have the most friends, and as a result of that, peer pressure, some people let peer pressure get to them. You start doing things that on your own you would normally not do, but because your friends are forcing you to do these things. Like when I was in the university and when I went out with my friends, if I was not drinking alcohol, it became a problem. Like, oh, big man like you need to drink alcohol. Can you imagine? Like, people be telling you, like, you're too grown up not to drink alcohol. You behave like a child. Are you a woman? Like, they equate woman to people that don't drink alcohol. Are you a woman? Oh, why you behaving like a woman? And then sometimes because you just want them to stop talking, you just do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not saying that you should not have fun in your 20s. Of course, this is the time for you to have your maximum fun. But I'm just saying that everything in moderation. Don't lose yourself in the process, and don't let people force you to do the things that you don't want to do. Don't change your core values because of peer pressure. Do you understand? That's what I'm just trying to say in this video. So guys, I mean, there are some other little small mistakes I made, but you see these ones I mentioned in this video, for me, these are the biggest mistakes I made in my life. I'm currently 33 years old and I'm catching up. I'm just playing catch up. Like, I'm just trying to catch up. But before you leave this video, live life on your own terms. It's not a competition. You're not in competition with anyone. Live your life to the best of your abilities. Don't compare yourself. Don't try to equate your situation to another person's. Just live your life. Go on your self-improvement journey. Go on your leveling up journey and be the best version of yourself. You're in your 20s. You're young. Your future is bright and you are going to succeed if you apply the things I said in this video. Right? Okay? Are we together? Okay, so guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. This is a brand new channel that I just started and I'm trying to grow it. It will give me so much joy if you subscribe and share the video with your friends. Share it to your friends, like, who are still in their 20s. They should come and learn, so they should not be 30 years or celebrating 30 years in their parents' house. Okay, I said my own.